Live from Mike and Ed's Barbecue, week 4 of the Glenwood Gators football review show alongside head football coach Ryan Nelson. I am Chris Blackshear. Some of you, that's disappointing. You don't see Coach Purdue sitting here. For some of you, that's probably a good thing. But Mike and Ed's Barbecue, Chase and Abby Cook, as always, thanks for letting us come hang out here each and every Monday night. Well, Monday night normally. Tuesday nights tonight, and the weeks are all messed up there, Coach. And great barbecue here, and it's a great environment. A little bit different tonight, though, with the holiday being yesterday, Coach. We have our Pee Wee and JV playing at home as we speak right now. They're opening night. So football is completely in full force at all levels of the program at Glenwood. But first, let's transition back to Friday night.
First off, I want to say, Chris, thank you so much for coming up there and doing the show. Dusty had some things going on tonight. He's actually at our Pee Wee game, announcing there. So I just want to tell you thank you so much, and you know, that you're here for us, and we can do this, and we'll have some fun tonight.
Man, you've gone through this the head coaching book. How do we do the media interaction with the media people? But now I was looking. You know, you called me the other day and asked me to do it. I was like, it's been 10 or 12 years since I've actually hosted one, and talking about things coming full circle. You know, we were talking the other day when you were a ball boy with another school in town in 1993, their state championship. When I hosted the Locker Room Review show at Phoenix Cable in the studios before it became CTV Beam, it's when your dad was the head coach of the Red Devils, and now we've come full circle with you.
It seems like it's been a long time ago.
Well, let's just start right at the top. Congratulations, first victory as a head coach. How long did it take that to sit in that, hey, I won my first game?
You know, Chris, to be honest with you, it still hadn't set in. I mean, you know, I don't really think about it so much as being my first victory. Like I tell everybody, say congratulations. It's about the team and about us more than it's about me. And anybody that knows me knows that's what I'm about. So at the end of the day, I'm just so thankful for our coaches, for our players. You know, we got the first victory. We're 1-2 now, and it's just, you know, all the hard work our coaches put in, our players put in, and you know, last week we were on a mission. I mean, we felt, you know, after Brookstone, we let one slip through our hands, and we did. From an organization standpoint, we really felt like we did. So we was on a mission last week to come out and just prepare and play a solid ball game. And like I've told Dusty for weeks, I think this football team's only going to grow. And I think we played really, really well last week in the first half to get out to a lead, 33-7 for a half. And, you know, but again, it's not about me. It's about us at Glenwood. That's what it's about.
Well, you are part of the program, and it was the first victory of the season. Let's step aside now for our first time out here on the Glenwood Gator Review. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to recapping the victory over Fort Dale, which was 40-21 this past Friday night at the Swamp. We'll talk about that and a lot more details when we come back here for Mike and Ed's Barbecue.
What is community? Is it a neighborhood? The businesses and homes inside it? Maybe community isn't just a place. Maybe it's a state of mind that when we care together, cheer together, we're closer to what really counts. At Beam, we're finding new ways to bring us all closer. And you'll find us right out there with you, because community is always on our mind. Beam, bringing East Alabama more.
Mike and Ed's Barbecue. It's the place where you can come in and pig out with us on the best barbecue in the South. We've been serving the most delicious barbecue and home cooking favorites in the Southeast since 1985. We're open 6 days a week for carry-out, online orders, or just dine-in. Call us for catering. We love to serve at gatherings and parties. So come on in and enjoy some good Southern hospitality and the best barbecue around. Mike and Ed's Barbecue, Phoenix City. Locally owned and operated since 1985.
Back to Mike and Ed's Barbecue. Chris Blackshear, Coach Ryan Nelson. And, Coach, let's turn our attention now to the victory this past Friday night against Fort Dale. As you said in the first segment, it was the 25-23 loss to Brookstone. And, you know, you went back and reviewed the film and spoke to the team. And a lot of it was easy coaching, I guess, when kids saw the film themselves, because it was about players are in the right position. It's about now growing and executing to the full potential every time. And that happened early on the opening kickoff. Didn't exactly go as you drew it up for the opening kickoff, but at the end of the day, the results were what you wanted, and that was a touchdown.
And credit Jackson Milam there making a play, and we kind of talked about it all week. You know, we kind of knew they were going to kick to their sideline and short pooch it. And we had a couple things coming off of that, but we told Milam, like, if he can find a way, if he hits up in there and bounces it, you know, to the wide side, just go. And, he made a play, he got in and got out, and then when he got on our sideline, when we got about midfield, it was just set sail, young man, like I always say, and he made a play and just used his speed, and, what a way to start the game. And I think it kind of relieved everybody a little bit from just a standpoint of our whole football team can breathe a little bit and go play. It's not always fun when you lose ball games, and we're sitting there 0-2, so there is some, some sense of uncertainty at times, but what a way to start the ball game, and you couldn't ask for a better spot to start.
Let's think about that though, because again, the first two games we had the football first,
right. Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
and weren't able to put any points on the board.
Well, not only that,
but also giving up a
touchdown.
we giving up three and out. Yep, and giving up a touchdown. Yeah. So it was the first time leading all season long. And I think to your point, it looked like all of a sudden it was a big weight lifted there, but it's still Fort Dale had some athletes though, and they were able to extend the field on some big pass plays. Yep. A couple of big shots, 20+ yards down the field that sometimes would take. You almost felt like the momentum was coming back, Coach. But every time they had an answer for us, we came right back with more points as well.
Ain't no doubt, and you got to give them credit too. I mean, like I said here last week, they were really good up front on both sides of the ball, and they had number one, number two. They could really run, dynamic players. But I credit our guys so much. We preached all week, coming out, starting fast, and that's what we did. We got up to a 20-point lead right there. I think I credit, offensively, I think we scored 5 out of 6 possessions in the first half. Defensively, we played outstanding in the first half. We gave up one drive right there. But, I credit our defense so much, Chris, that coming out, they scored to make it 20-7, and they onside kick, and, it was not a very good play by our kickoff return team. And it's not so much on the coach or anything like that because we coached it all week. We kind of felt like they were going to try to steal a position. It's just one of those deals that the kids haven't seen it, and now they've seen it, and we can get more experience from it. But they get that. But credit our defense going into the second quarter right there. They laid the hammer down and stopped it right there, and then we get the ball back and take it right back down the score.
All right, so let's kind of let's backtrack there into the locker room because you've kind of had the first 2 weeks the unfortunate task of pretty much having the same blueprint from a speech perspective in the locker room at halftime. Mm-hmm. What was the locker room like in the speech to the team? Because now you got to lead. So now, to me, as much as the importance of the first two games of you stretched to the team, we got to come out and grab the momentum back and get some points on the board and answer what our Pacelli Brookstone's done. Now it's back to now you got to flip the switch and not allow them to come back.
Right. Well, the first thing for me, Chris, going into the locker room, I was extremely frustrated, not from our standpoint of our play, because we were up there 33-7, but I was frustrated where our kids were kind of jawing back to their kids. I mean, we're up 33-7, and they're getting personal fouls because they're frustrated, and we're entertaining that kind of stuff. So I had to get that straight at halftime. I really did. And, I'm here to run a class program and for our kids to be 100% in class. And we're not here to talk, we're here to play. And so I had to kind of get that straight. But, going back to what you said, after we got all that straight, I was really extremely pleased how we played. But then again, we talk about this every Wednesday at practice about going out and, the same way in the third quarter as the first quarter, we've got to come out and start fast in the third quarter. So we want to come out, on defense and get a 3 and out and get the offense the ball. Unfortunately, we give a big play right there. They make it 33-14, which is back to a 3-score game. But our offense was able to go back on the very next possession, and we hit a big ball to Griff Gardner right there to kind of put the hammer in the coffin right there.
A couple more comments, and we'll just leave Fort Dale behind. And the number one thing, and the important thing was it was the first region win. That's very important to get that first one. But let's talk about, we've already kind of touched on the passing game offensively, but let's talk about, with that passing game success, how it opened up the running game, and JT had a big game that night running the football as well.
Yeah, and JT, I know he scored the first 2 touchdowns actually the second and third touchdown after Milo scored a kickoff return, but he scores on the inside zone on the tempo play right there, and then he breaks a long one for right at probably 87 yards. We were backed up, and there's a play we put in, and like I told Dusty last week, we're growing every week offensively. So is this a gap scheme we was able to put in that week and execute, and we had some good blocking right there, and he breaks up their sideline. It was good to see JT break a long run like that, because it was almost like the week before he was so close, and he almost broke 2 or 3 big runs, and it was good to see him. And credit Jackson Milam too, getting out there and busting his tail and having an effort block out there. I mean, he sprints down from our sideline all the way across the field and makes a heck of a block for us for him to spring him into the end zone right there. But I challenge JT after Brookstone about kind of extending his runs, and more of him getting in shape and practicing. And me and Coach Wicker and Coach Boyd, we talked about this a lot because they coach him. Is we've got to challenge him in practice. We got to get him out there, and he's got to extend his runs in practice, because if he don't do that, or if he doesn't excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, he doesn't do that, at the end of the day, if he don't practice it, and it ain't muscle memory, it ain't going to happen in the ball game.
And then let's talk about defense. Defense coordinator Josh McCall and his staff are doing a tremendous job, and you saw the number of explosive plays that we've given up have drastically decreased. And what I've been more impressed with is they gave up an explosive play in the second half against Pacelli to bow their neck and really shut them out.
Yep.
Same thing out of the locker room against Brookstone and shut them down. Same thing happened again against Fort Dale. We'll talk about that defense, how they really stay together and really bow their neck, after a big play like that, and really play together as a full unit.
I think the biggest thing for our defense right now is, a lot of people don't understand this. We've had so much turnover right now as far as injuries. We've had some kids sick. We've had some kids missing because of this or that. And we've had to play a lot of guys in some different positions. And it's almost been like they get a couple days of practice and they got to go play. So it's tough. And we're dealing with, issues at inside linebacker. And, last week we had to start Lamont at inside linebacker, and we didn't have to really know that until Thursday. So we had a kid sick, so it was very difficult from that standpoint. But they've done a great job of just being calm, handling adversity, and letting the kids go out and play. But I can't be more happy than when we played defensively last week, and really in the second half of Brookstone and all of last week. So I get it. We're going to continue to get better on that side of the ball, and we've had to make some changes this week on a few things too. But just continue to play and get experience, and I continue to think we're going to get better.
Well, as we kind of lay Fort Dale to the side, 40-21 first win of the season. The Gators improved to 1-2 overall, but more importantly, 1-0 in region play. Let's step aside now. When we come back, Wyatt Tharp and JT Banks will join us. We'll get their perspective of this past Friday night's game, and looking forward to Bessemer. Stay with us. You're watching the Glenwood Football Review live here at Mike and Ed's.
Beam is delivering gig speed internet to 100% of our network. But should you get a gig? Well, if you want to download an album in a blink, video conference in 4K, make virtual reality more real, power all of your home smart devices at the same time, and still have bandwidth to stream everything without buffering, then yeah, you gotta get a gig. So call, click, or visit and get it. Because when you gotta get a gig, you gotta go with Beam, bringing East Alabama more. What is community? Is it a neighborhood? The businesses and homes inside it? Maybe community isn't just a place. Maybe it's a state of mind that when we care together, cheer together, we're closer to what really counts. At Beam, we're finding new ways to bring us all closer. And you'll find us right out there with you. Because community is always on our mind. Beam, bringing East Alabama more.
Back live at Mike and Ed's Barbecue, the Glenwood Gators Football Review. As you can see, we've got a couple additional people up here at the table with us now. JT Banks and Wyatt Tharp join us. And Wyatt, since you grabbed the microphone, you've been eager since you walked in. We're going to jump right in with you. Talk about how big Friday night was getting that first win of the season.
It was huge. It was just really a momentum type of thing. We got us started with the first regional win and just getting our heads back up and ready to move on to the next game.
All right, JT, let me ask you too as well. Coming off of last week's Brookstone game, one that the entire program really felt like we let slip away. But talk about practice leading into Fort Dale, because it seemed to be a sense of urgency. Yeah, you were 0-2, but more importantly, the real season started with it being the first region game. How big was that leading into the game Friday night?
It was a pretty huge thing to play teams like that and to get us ready for the next game. Those were games that not need to win. We, of course, won those games. But going into the region, starting the practice that we did, it was a big practice. Everybody picked up the tempo and things. We had a great Monday at practice. Everybody knows that when they're at practice, you're going to have a pretty good game. And having that good Monday just continued throughout the week for us to have a good game on Friday. That's what we did.
All right, White, for you, you started off at offense, transition to defense last week. It's kind of what Coach Nelson was just talking about. Due to injuries and just the numbers game and stuff, you had to be ready to have your number called, and wherever it is, the kind of mentality of put me in, coach. So you've kind of become the poster child, one of many, for doing that. Talk about the transition over leading into that and then actually seeing some success at that position defensively last Friday night.
Well, whenever I've heard that Coach is talking about some offensive guys maybe the defense and for players being injured and all, I knew immediately, like, I played defense throughout football and stuff. As soon as I heard of that, I texted Coach McConnell and I said, I'll be the guy to step up and play defense. I don't care where you put me. I'll try to get the job done and do it when you're ready.
And JT, and hearing White say that, do you see that seems to be part of this team slowly getting better? I think the way we always want to look at it is 4 quarters. You want to be playing 4 quarters as far as looking at the season. We're at the end of the first quarter now. You want to be playing your best ball at the 4th quarter. Is that part of how are you seeing this team slowly starting to come together?
I see my brothers progress almost every day, man. They progress in the weight room, progress on the field, as well as I progress. I have them progress, they help me progress. We all have to have like an open mindset to play on both sides of the ball anytime, anywhere, any game. So as long as we all have an open mindset, we can all help build each other together, and I'll get better as a team.
Well, let me ask you this way. You got the mic. So a lot of people don't realize, you got Coach Wicker on staff now, that's 30-plus years of institutional knowledge. What's it been like having him back there coaching you and the other running backs at that position?
It's been amazing. He keeps me up at practice. He keeps me laughing. He over here, you're looking at me. But he keeps the energy up in practice. He always comes in with great energy. At the end of the day, has a joke to keep us up and all. He always has great information for us to learn. He always betters me, and lives my brothers Carter and that.
And Coach Nelson, first off, I'm sure those are some bad dad jokes that he's telling. Give us your perspective on these 2 guys up here.
Well, first I want to say, like for Wyatt, just stepping in doing a job he did last week, not so much transition from receiver to corner, because it's not like that we don't practice crossover periods, which for the people out there, our crossover periods is where we take most of our guys that play offense, they go practice defense, and our guys that practice defense, they go to offense. So that's something we built in practice. That's something I felt like when I got here, all the coaches, they bought into it. Like we've got to do that with our numbers. So it wasn't foreign to him, but it really kind of, come Wednesday, it was almost a reality to him. He's like, okay, well, I got to go play corner, and I got to play at a high level, because number 1 and number 2 were really good players last week. So just for him, just going out there and like JT said, being open-minded, and then him going out there and playing a really good ball game. He made some really good plays on some balls, and the one thing that impressed me so much about Wyatt was coming down and laying his helmet in there and tackling. So it's just something that's going to make our team better. Not that he's not going to play offense, because he's a big threat for us in the inside receiver also, but it just makes him more versatile and makes him more valuable to our team. And I think JT hit the nail on the head. So one thing I love about our kids is we truly have a team. And we have guys that are selfless, and whatever it's going to take for us to win on a Friday night, they're going to do it.
Well, JT White, thanks for joining us. And I saw y'all. I interrupted you in your rib plate to bring you guys up here, and I know they're over there getting cold. So I'm going to let you guys get back to that. And we come back, we're going to turn our attention now to this week's game. The opponents, Bessemer. There's a long history between these 2 programs. We'll talk about that and much more when we come back here to Glenwood Football Review.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Mike and Ed's Barbecue. It's the place where you can come in and pig out with us on the best barbecue in the South. We've been serving the most delicious barbecue and home cooking favorites in the Southeast since 1985. We're open 6 days a week for carry-out, online orders, or just dine-in. Call us for catering. We love to serve at gatherings and parties. So come on in and enjoy some good Southern hospitality and the best barbecue around. Mike and Ed's Barbecue, Phoenix City. Locally owned and operated since 1985.
Welcome back to Mike and Ed's Barbecue. Coach Ryan Nelson, Chris Blackshear on the Glenwood Football Review. Great interview with Wyatt and JT. Now let's turn our attention to the Rebels of Bessemer. Yeah, program in AISC in recent years has kind of been at the top of the mountain. It is Bessemer. You look back, they've won 8 state championships, most recent 2019, 14 region titles. We're only, as a program, 3-12 against them, but we're riding a 2-game winning streak, beating them in 2020 and 2021. Second-year coach Jonathan Wright is leading the Rebels. They went 3-7 last year. They're 0-2 coming into this game, but don't let that be deceiving. They're a very good football team.
Yes, and they lost the first game, to Banks, and it's a 14-9 ball game, and they have the ball with like 2.5, 3 minutes to go in the game. And they end up turning it over, and then last week it's a 14-0 ball game to Autauga midway through the third quarter, and they turn it over again, and Autauga was able to push it. So they've been in both ball games. Extremely talented team. They've got a number 52 up front and a number 77 that are really good players. They got an inside linebacker, number 6, that's a really good player. Got a DB, number 3, is a really good player. And they got 2 guys on offense, number 1 and number 10, that are really good players at receiver. So we're expecting a dogfight. I mean, and that's what we're going to get. I know the history of Bessemer. I know what they're about. My better half is from there, so it is kind of a special game. And Coach Boyd's from there. So we do got some Bessemer ties around here at Glenwood. And I know what they're about. I know what the kids are about. I know what the coach is about. So we're expecting a 4-quarter war, and we know what we're going to get from them. They're going to fight us hard. And but, Chris, at the end of the day, we're just worried about us preparing. I think last week was so big for us because we went back to worrying about Glenwood and preparing for a ball game Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then showing up Friday and trying to execute the game plan.
So let's ask this, because it was started the season with a 5-game stretch prior to the first off week, which will be in 2 more weeks still. This is week 4 in consecutive games. How's the team from a physical perspective shaping up?
We're banged up. There ain't no doubt. I mean, and anybody that knows anything about us, I'm not going to sit here and call guys out that are injured. If they know anything about us, they can see on a Friday night. It's almost like a domino effect. We've done lost several. And but when I got here, I told the kids we're not going to build this team on 1 player or 2 players. We're going to build on all of us. So the expectation around here at Glenwood right now in the locker room is next man up. So if we don't have this guy, well, the next man's got to go make plays. And throughout the summer, throughout the fall camp, that's how we practice, Chris. I mean, everybody got reps, and that's the only way to build depth. And I firmly believe that's the way you win big in high school football is to have the most depth.
All right, last 2 things here before we close out this portion of this segment on Bessemer. A little fill in the blank with you. For us to have success offensively against Bessemer Friday night, we must fill in the blank.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say this: we're expecting rain right now. I mean, it's
surprise.
Yeah, so it's 90% thunderstorms throughout the day, and then another 95% thunderstorms throughout the night. So I told the coach today we kind of went out there offensively, and we had 2 days of a dry game plan. So we're going to go out there the next 2 days, and we're going to have a game plan of a wet. So we kind of got some stuff, that we can do when it's dry. But everybody knows if it's raining and it's thunderstorms, the game changes, and we got to do some things that are a little different. But I think the biggest thing for us is playing with pace, coming off the ball offensively, and then continue to do what we've been doing. Is whatever they allow us to do, whether it be throw or run, we've got to execute.
Now, defensively, to have success Friday night against Bessemer.
We really don't know right now about their quarterback situation. Their starting quarterback got hit last week, and he went out. So we're the backup came in, he's a lefty, so we're preparing for both. I think for us defensively, what we got to do is come out is just run and tackle. And I say that, and one thing I will say defensively this week, I have seen us fly around the ball the last 2 days, and I think that's the biggest thing for us, and that's what killed us the first 2 ball games is tackling. If we can just run, do our assignment, and when we get to the ball carrier, if we'll just tackle and wrap up, I think we'll have a chance to be okay.
All right, we're up against our final timeout of this program. When we come back, we'll get you set for Friday night. We'll talk about final thoughts from Coach Nelson leading into the game against Bessemer. And we'll be back to Mike and Ed's Barbecue right after this timeout.
Mike and Ed's Barbecue. It's the place where you can come in and pig out with us on the best barbecue in the South. We've been serving the most delicious barbecue and home cooking favorites in the Southeast since 1985. We're open 6 days a week for carry-out, online orders, or just dine-in. Call us for catering. We love to serve at gatherings and parties, so come on in and enjoy some good Southern hospitality and the best barbecue around. Mike and Ed's Barbecue, Phoenix City. Locally owned and operated since 1985.
Back to Mike and Ed's Barbecue. We're just throwing money everywhere. I kind of like that right now. Final segment here, Chris Blackshear, Coach Ryan Nelson. And Coach, you mentioned that your better half is an alumni of Bessemer. My question is, have you solidified 100% sure what court she's in Friday night?
Yeah, ain't no doubt. She's with the home team.
Okay. I just want to make sure of that first. And another tradition that's happened, this is a third straight home game. So a lot of things had changed from the pregame and in-game interaction with the fans and the players, really trying to make everybody feel a part of the program and really making it an event on Friday nights. How big of a jump did you see from week 1 to week 2 and the expectations going into this game this Friday?
Yeah, and that's one thing. I think kind of week 2, everybody kind of got the routine, and we're getting into a routine on home games, and everybody's starting to understand what we're trying to do. And I just want to tell the fans, every Friday night we play 30 minutes before kickoff. We'll have our Gator walk, and that's when our kids kind of come off the field after pregame warm-ups, and we're going to walk through the stands. But it's not only for the kids, but it's for the fans. I'm trying to create a lot of excitement there, Chris. But it's only to get everybody and get the stadium full of energy and a little hypeness. I like the crowd to be live. I like the kids to be, having a good time and have that, like we talked about, that energy and almost like that party-like atmosphere, and pull for the Gators. That's what everybody's there to do, to pull for these kids to go out and just have the best atmosphere we possibly can at 8 o'clock for kickoff.
In a game like this, that could really make a difference because there's such a long road trip for Bessemer. You would have to assume, one, just because of the distance. Two, if it really is bad weather, they're not really going to have a lot of fans, and that gives us an opportunity at the Swamp to really even create a bigger home field advantage than you typically would on any given Friday night.
Right, ain't no doubt about that. So, I'm asking all the Gator Nation, the Glenwood faithful, please come out and support these kids Friday night. We got to have it. Again, it's our 3rd straight home game. But most importantly, like you said earlier, this is a chance for our football team to be 2-0 in the region. Get back to 500 on record, but be 2-0 in the region and move forward. And we got one game until we go into our open week after that. But most importantly, that's the biggest thing we've been talking about in the building all week is we're not looking ahead. We don't care what the next week holds for us. We're worried about all of our energy right now, what we can do to beat Bessemer and be 2-0 in the region.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on the first victory and good luck Friday night against Bessemer.
Chris, I want to tell you thank you so much for coming down here and helping us and being on the show tonight and hosting the show. And we can't thank you enough for not only hosting the show tonight, but everything you do for us at Glenwood and everything you've done for us and you're going to continue to do for us. You're part of the big atmosphere that you put out on Friday night and for the fans and things like that. And thank you so much again.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I did not say thanks to Wes Hargrove. I give him such a hard time, but I sent him a text the other day and said I do owe you a big thank you, and so now he has it on tape. He can hold it against me anytime he wants to. But again, this Friday night the Gators host the Rebels of Bessemer. Kickoff 8 o'clock at the Swamp. About 7:35, the Gator Walk will take place on the home sidewalk leading to the Glenwood locker room. For Coach Ryan Nelson, Togar, everybody else at CTV Beam. Until next week, so long, everybody.